go, fearless factoring, and we're going to work with called a difference of squares. So the reason they call this a difference of squares, and this example actually isn't an example for it, but difference meaning subtraction, so you need to have two terms that are subtracted by each other, and squares means it's two values that you can square root. Now technically I can common factor a value out of here, so I'm going to do some mental math really quick. I can common factor 2 out, so 2 would come out, this would become a 4, and this would become a 9, and then I can square root a 4 and a 9, and that's where that idea of squares comes in. Okay? So there's a special way to go about factoring this, but as long as we know one way, we can probably do it. The only thing is when we're used to using fearless factoring, or many terms or styles of factoring, we're used to factoring when it looks like this. Y is equal to a x squared plus bx plus c, right? So we're used to 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and we only have 2 terms here. So let's try to figure this out. If we were to relate this to the 3 term, the standard form of quadratic, this 8, which letter do you think it would be?
A.
A, very good. It would be the A. What about this negative 18?
C.
Yes, that's right. It would be C. So what don't we have?
A B.
We don't have a B. What value represents not having something?
1.
Not 1. If I have one apple, I have something.
0.
0. Good. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn this into 3 terms. Okay? We have ax squared. Oh, that's fine. Plus 0x. Okay? Minus 18. And the reason I did that is just because when we fearless factor, we're used to using 3 terms. Okay? So really, that's what this said. They just didn't include the 0x. So now I have 3 terms. And then I can go right back into fearless factoring. If you remember, fearless factoring states we need 2 numbers that multiply to whatever a times c is. And those same 2 numbers need to add up to whatever our b is. So a times c could be tough. Ends up being 144 if you put it in.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's our b value?
0.
0. That's a different one. Now, actually, it's not just 144. It's positive 8 times negative 18. So it's negative 144. We have to keep that because that's actually really, really important. So I need 2 terms that multiply to negative 144 and add to 0. Adding to 0 gives you a really good hint. We need 2 terms that are opposite of each other, right? Like we need something like positive 1 and negative 1, or positive 5 and negative 5. They can't be different values because if we put them together, we'll never get 0. Okay, so that gives us a pretty good hint of what the numbers are going to be. Do you know 2 numbers that might multiply to 144?
Is it positive 144 and negative 144?
Well, no, because that would be huge if we multiplied them. Okay. If you guys remember when you did your multiplication tables, they usually try to get elementary school students to memorize up to a certain number.
12.
12. Do you know what 12 times 12 is?
144.
That's what it is, 144. Good. So 12 times 12, and 12 and 12, but positive 12 and positive 12 aren't 0. What do we need?
A negative.
1 to be negative. And in order to get a negative when multiplying, we need a negative times a positive. So this now works. It went through everything. So great. Now we set up fearless factoring. Y is equal to, we take the 8x and we put that as the first term in both of our brackets, right? Oh, don't slow down on the computer here. Okay, 8x and 8x. Okay. And then our other 2 terms, we have a negative 12 and we have a positive 12. I'm going to fix that. And then everything is going to be divided by the coefficient of the first term. And the coefficient of the a term is the 8. So we put the 8 down there. Okay? Now, we got a common factor. So I got a common factor out of both of these brackets. So I look, can you think of a term that might come out of both of them?
4.
4. Excellent. I can divide 4 by both of them. And they're pretty much the same minus the plus or minus sign, right? So let's pull 4 out of each. 4 comes out of this one, and we would get 8x divided by 4 is 2x. Negative 12 divided by 4 is
Negative 3.
good. And then in the other bracket, we pulled the 4 out. 8x divided by 4, 2x like we did. And this time we just have plus 3. Okay, and then divided by. And remember we talked about this before. Order of multiplication doesn't matter. So since it doesn't matter, I'm going to multiply. The right amount? Yes, I'm going to multiply, 4 by 4. Okay, you can like move it to the front or whatever, but let's multiply that 4 by 4. What is 4 by 4?
16.
16. Okay, now this is neat. It's a little different than many of the other fearless factoring ones we've done. The value on top is actually larger than the number we have on the bottom. Okay, what is 16 divided by 8?
2.
2. So what that means is we can cancel these out and leave a 2 out here. Okay, y is equal to 2, and then we have 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3. Normally in fearless factoring, you get a relationship where it's something like 8 over 8. And really what it is not that they cancel out, but what is 8 divided by 8?
0.
It's 1 actually. So because it's 1, what really happens here is a 1 is written here. And 1 times anything is whatever it is, so we don't need to write the 1 in. So, but when the value is larger, we do need to write it in, like when we have a value of 2. So this is actually a really different, very difficult difference of squares questions, but as long as we can realize that we can just put a 0x, we can follow the exact same formula and end up at the answer. Normally a teacher would tell you to common factor first, but we technically don't have to with fearless factoring. We can just follow our exact same order and we'll get the answer in the end.